So, this past week, we've been having some really awesome live Zoom calls in Sync Academy. I've been broadcasting them here on the channel. First with Anthony Crawford, then with Stephen McDonald, both full-timer sync licensing producers who have just done amazingly well in this business. They are part of that elite group of 2 to 3% of producers that are really able to carve out full-time income from themselves. If you did not catch those interviews, you can definitely watch the replays. I'll link them below. But I really just wanted to make one video to highlight the two main reasons why those two producers, I believe, have succeeded. You probably noticed this throughout our conversations. And if you didn't notice or pick up on these two traits, then hopefully this video will help cement this as something you should be taking forward from their experience for your sync licensing journey. Number one, neither one of them wait for opportunities to come to them. If you notice from Anthony's stories, he was never waiting for a library to say, Anthony, we need you to make us an album of tension cues. He would always be ahead of the game. He would be aware of what productions and what reality shows or maybe sporting events were coming up on the horizon in the next 3 to 6 months. And he would specifically reach out to his library partners and say, are you guys going to pitch for that? Are you guys working with that client? Should we start getting some music together now so that when that opportunity pops up, we're ready to serve them? That is called being proactive. That is called not waiting for somebody to give you a brief before you start getting busy. That is a winning strategy in this industry, to be proactive, to initiate conversations with your library partners, not be the passive one waiting for them to email you or text you or call you, but you find a way and a reason, and not just to fill up their inbox with noise, but a meaningful reach out to say, I want to be useful. I want to be helpful. Maybe I could do this for your upcoming projects. Maybe I could create that kind of music that would be useful for the kinds of projects that seem to be on your plate right now. Or if you're not aware of who your library is serving at the moment, that should be a great conversation starter to say, I'm ready, I'm excited, I'm motivated, I want to start making some music. Who are you serving right now? Who's on your plate, right? Who's basically looking for music right now? Who's going to be looking for music in the next couple of weeks to the next couple of months? Let me know how my skills and my services can be useful for you. So that's number one. Stephen had similar stories to share where he was constantly being proactive with his library partners. And the second, which I think is now becoming a sort of must-have skill, probably always has, but I don't know if I've properly emphasized it enough on this channel and in Sync Academy, but both of these gentlemen work very fast. Okay, Anthony was telling us about creating and at least finishing 5 fully completed tracks, mixed and mastered, alts, stems, everything in a week. That's within usually 5 days. He's able to get 5 tracks done. So that's about a track a day. Stephen was doing even more than that, many days completing multiple tracks in a day. What both of them thrive on, and I certainly would say that I thrived on it as well, is having very, very tight deadlines and having no room for perfectionism. And one of the beautiful things about sync licensing, especially when you work with a couple of library partners and you're busy consistently cranking out new music for them, constantly kind of stockpiling and contributing to your 401k royalty plan, so to speak, is that time is of the essence and you want to get as many high quality tracks into your library partners' hands as soon as possible. And you don't want to be at the snail's pace of one album a year or one album every 3 months. Too slow, okay? I would say you want to shoot for at least an album every single month. And how many tracks are an album? 10, 12 tracks, maybe even more, maybe a little bit less, depending on what you're working on. But that would be a really solid goal for everybody who wants to give sync licensing a solid try to be shooting for. Now, I know with our sync focus plan, we're talking about just minimum 2 tracks. So if you're at 2 tracks right now and that's sustainable and you're able to consistently go with 2 tracks, don't take this as conflicting advice that you need to up your minimums to 8 tracks or 10 tracks right now as of watching this video. Go at your own pace, okay? If last year you were inconsistent, then stay with a small, consistent goal right now. And hopefully maybe by the end of this year or maybe in a year or two, you can sorely inch your way up to that 8 tracks, 10 tracks, 12 tracks or more per month. And speed is a very, very valuable asset in this business. And if you thrive under deadlines and if it helps you to have somebody tell you, listen, by the end of today at 5 p.m., I need you to send me and bounce whatever you got. If that feels motivating and invigorating and exciting and also helpful to help you not get lost in choice paralysis, where it's like, well, which kick should I use? Which, bass synth should I use? And how should I really mix this or that? If you're getting lost in the weeds of all the millions, billions of choices that we have using our home DAW sessions and our home DAW software and all the plugins and VSTs that we have access to, if you constantly get lost in that, deadlines are the best thing to help you get out of that, because usually what will happen is you'll realize where the important decisions are made. And I think that's exactly what you guys hopefully got from our decision or our conversations with Anthony and Steven, is there's only a couple of really important decisions to be made in your creative process. It's not whether or not this snare or that snare gets used. It's not whether or not this VST string library versus that VST library. Don't get me wrong, quality is definitely matter. It definitely matters, it's definitely important. But a lot of times I find that producers that are able to just make quick, solid decisions on not, is this the perfect choice? Is this the best possible choice? Is this, at a 10 out of 10, excellence, quality, the best thing I've ever done? Staying away from that win-lose scenario, but just going into, will this work, right? Will this get the job done? Will this really convey the energy that I'm looking for? Will this bass do, right? Because what you'll find, and it's sort of like a sad reality, but it is just a reality, is a lot of the things that we, the producers on the side of the business, think are really, really important and so critical and crucial, like which snare we use and how much we EQ this particular VST or any of that kind of stuff, clients honestly don't really notice or even care about any of those choices that we're making. They really just click play and go, yep, that delivers the emotion that I want, or nope, it's not quite there. So if you can use tight deadlines and a fast pace to be able to weed out the noise, get away from all the multitude of, choices of paralysis that are basically going to stop you, and allow those deadlines to help you move forward and just make little baby steps throughout your process to actually hit bounds and say, all right, this is done. If that's invigorating and useful for you, then I think you've got a very, very bright future in sync. If deadlines and tight deadlines really stress you out, they get in the way of your creative process, they don't help you finish things, they make you more paralyzed, I would think twice about continuing to pursue sync licensing, because that is going to be your reality in this industry, far beyond whatever you're doing right now, as you're just maybe building up a habit of showing up every single month. When you start getting serious, getting accepted by libraries, maybe working with 2, 3, maybe more than that at a time, tight deadlines will be your normal air that you breathe. So you better get used to it. You better be ready for it. And hopefully this is going to be a useful video, and those two interviews will give you a sort of front row seats of what your future lifestyle might look like. And for some of you, you're going to be more motivated and more excited to keep going with this. Others of you, it might be a wake-up call to realize this is going to be work, and it's going to be work under tight deadlines and pressure. So with those two big summaries that I got, at least from our conversations, I'm curious for all of you that did watch those two interviews and maybe even participated in Sync Academy. What did you learn that I didn't pick up on this video? I'd love for you guys to share that as a comment below this video. Thank you so much.